Hi, I'm Joe,
And I'm Lance.
and we're the SAR guys.
Today we're going to talk about some of the things that we've learned since we started these videos. We've done several videos now, and really throughout this, Joe and I have really had to kind of change some things about how we view our packs or different searches or
Yeah,
techniques that we do.
and the research that we've done, some of the things that we've talked about, it's like, are we doing it the right way? We better,
Yeah,
before we talk about it, we better look it up. And we look it up, it's like, oh, there's better ways to do these things.
absolutely.
So today we're going to do the top things that we've learned since we've started doing these videos, and we've been doing them about 6 months now.
Yeah,
So we got 28 videos, I think, online.
yeah, it's been
So
awesome.
yeah. So what's the
Absolutely.
first thing you learned about?
The first thing, it's something that's been solidified versus learned, and that is how important search and rescue is to be team members and understanding that we don't operate as individuals. And so everything that we do, we need to look at the big picture of how do I affect not just me but as a team,
Hmm.
and how am my what I carry in my pack or my actions or the things that I do is going to affect my partners out there on the trail, and how it's going to affect overall the mission.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of solidified the fact that this isn't bushcraft, this isn't survival, it's not backpacking and all this other stuff, but it's truly search and rescue and being a team member.
So that leads right into my top one, was actually that our backpacks need to be fluid.
Yeah.
We talked about the modular system, and every time you use your backpack, you need to make your backpack such a way that you can take things out or put in what you need for that particular search. And for some searches, you're going to need a ton of things. And for some searches, all you need is a first aid kit in there,
Yeah.
and that's it. So you need to pay attention to what the search is and adjust your backpack to that search.
Absolutely. And right now, our team is going to where we have that vest, that load bearing vest that
Hmm.
we have. We've ordered a bunch of them for all our team members, and so with that, that you have to switch things back and forth. And unless you want to go out and buy, two first aid kits and two, water bladders and two of everything,
Hmm.
to be able to have two kits ready to go, or you just pull from one, put to the other, and take off, and then know your mission, right?
Right,
So,
right.
absolutely.
What's the other one you came up with?
Uh, Another one that came up is the sound sweeps. Sound sweeps was absolutely, it was kind of an epiphany to me because I've always been shown that we go out and we do a standard sound sweep. You all line up on the road, and one person blows the whistle, everybody else plugs their ears, and then you listen. Well, realistically, there's better ways to do it, and it wasn't that we were doing it wrong. It's just that over time they've learned that there's better ways, and so doing the cooperative or collective, I don't remember,
Coordinated.
coordinated. There it is.
Yeah.
It's the C word in there. But doing a coordinated sound sweep is more effective overall than
Hmm.
just an individual. And
Hmm.
so to me, I thought that was awesome.
Hmm.
And I know you're the big one that researched that out, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
And their team actually is adopting that. Our
mhm.
coordinator said, I never even thought about doing something like that.
Yeah,
So that's a good thing.
yeah,
So another thing that I learned about that we did a pack check at our last team meeting, and something that really struck me was fire. And
fire,
we
yes.
spent so much focus on fire and having 20 different ways to make fire.
Yeah.
And the reality is, in the last 5 years, I've never made a fire ever. And
Well, out on a search
not on a
anyways.
search, right? And so what I wonder about was, okay, what would I have needed, or what could it, during those last 5 years, what did I really need? And what I really needed was a simple way to make a small warming fire
Yeah,
and heat a small amount of liquid. And
yeah,
those were things that I could have done better on searches. And in the backpack, that means you need one way to start a fire, you need some kind of little fuel cell and
yeah,
a little stove, which we talked about, the one that we like.
yeah.
And that was a big aha for
Hmm.
me. I don't need 5 different ways to light a
Yeah,
fire. I don't need to carry, you know, a striker and we can't call them flints anymore. We
Yeah,
have to call them
no.
magnesium rod. So you know, we don't need to carry all that stuff. Carry a lighter. You know, lighters
Yeah,
work, and there
yeah.
you go. You
And
know,
make sure you leave your fireproof matches at home. You want the ones that will actually light the fire.
right.
So
You want waterproof matches. So
waterproof
yeah,
matches are good.
yeah. So
Technology is amazing.
yeah,
Over everything that we've learned, uh, technology has come really far. So I don't need to make my own fire starter with, you know, a cotton ball and Vaseline. They make it in a lot better packaging. That's a lot better now, and it's easier to use.
and it's cheap.
It's
Just
cheap.
very,
It
it's just
is
dirt
cheap.
cheap. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's another one?
So, you know, another one I would have to say, um, and it was kind of embarrassing, really, because we got to the end of our last video and I made a recommendation. And the recommendation we later learned was probably the worst recommendation I could have had. And that was our whistle video.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went, and if you haven't watched the video, I encourage you to do it. But I printed a whole bunch of whistles, and then we got all the whistles that we had in our pack and around, and we blew them, and we saw where all of them were. And then at the end of it, it's like, well, this is the whistle that I like, and this is the whistle I'm going to have. Well, the whistle that I chose, if you didn't recognize it, it was the one that had the worst score. I think it had an 88 or an 82 on the decimal score.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the one I'm going to have in the woods. Absolutely ridiculous. So it's off my pack now, and now I just have a Fox 40. So
Cool.
uh,
Well, another thing that I learned about was that the GPS doesn't need to be complicated. And
yeah,
when I first joined the team, I studied the GPS and learned all these functions and panicked about all the things that I needed to do with the GPS. And the reality is, in the video we just recently did, was you really only need to know two things. You need to know where you are and where you're going.
yeah,
And you do that by using the go-to function and by doing um, waypoints. And so
yeah.
if you know how to set waypoints on it and you know how to use the go-to function, that's all you needed to know
Yeah.
how to do. You don't
Take the
have to,
stress out of it.
yeah, take all the stress
Yeah.
out of it and just practice those two things and you're,
Yeah.
you know, you're good to
Yeah.
go.
There again, technology is a tool, and we have to learn the tools that we're going to use, whether or not it's motorcycles, GPSs, and that. And realistically, we can simplify it for using it for what we need for search and rescue.
So I think that's all of our list.
Yeah, I don't
And
know how many that was, but you know, some of it's really neat because it's stuff that we get to share and really understand how to do our job as search and rescue volunteers better.
yeah.
So
Okay, well, we hope you found this useful. It's a short video, just kind of summarizing what we've learned over the last several months, and we hope that it was helpful to you.
yeah, hopefully you learned something too.
Yep. Okay, and we'll see you out on the trail.
Have a good one.